Now let's go ahead to set up our Terraform pipeline. Remember in our previous module, we're able to create a stage that will get all of the code from our GitHub into our Jenkins server. So if you do a save and then you do build now, you should be able to see that you have all the configurations. So if you come here, you check console output, we will see that we have our main.terraform, provider.terraform, and variables.terraform. Now, the next step is for us to come back to our pipeline and do the necessary Terraform commands. We are going to be running Terraform init, Terraform plan, and Terraform apply in this given hands-on. Now, for us to do that, let's begin by configure. So click on configure. We scroll down to our pipeline. Take note, I mentioned with Groovy, every stage that has an opening curly brace must have a corresponding curly brace that closes that stage. Now, once the checkout stage has been completed, we are now going to add a new stage to perform the necessary Terraform commands. Once we completed this stage, we have our code has been put into our Jenkins server. Now, for us to do a new stage, we are going to create a new stage. I'll hit enter 3 times and I'll give the name of the stage. I'll say stage and then I'll open the curly brace. I'll call this stage Terraform init. This stage will be called Terraform init. And once you create the stage, the next thing is for you to create the steps. As we already saw, well, I need to put the curly brace first. I'll put my curly brace and then I'll put steps. I want to create the steps. I'll put steps and then I'll put the curly brace. And now under the steps, what are the commands, or what is the command which we want to run? Normally with Terraform, for you to initialize any Terraform configuration code, you just need to run the command Terraform. You just need to run the command Terraform init. But now this is a simple command, or this is a shell script command, and we are not just going to pass this command like this directly on our pipeline. We can copy this, and then open pipeline syntax on the right. So I'll right click this, open pipeline syntax. So pipeline syntax is open. Once I have this under my pipeline syntax, I'll search for shell because we want to run a shell script. I'll search for shell. This is shell script. I'll select shell script and then I'll paste this shell script here, the Terraform init command. We want to run Terraform init command. Once I paste that Terraform init command and I click on generate pipeline script, this is the exact script which we need to run the Terraform configuration. So I'll copy this, I'll right click, copy, come to the pipeline, and then I'll replace this with the exact script which is needed. So instead of me having that, I'll paste this here. So the stage basically is going to run the command Terraform init. We are going to run the command Terraform init. This first stage which we have here is to get the code from our GitHub repository into our Jenkins server. Then now the second stage which we have is to run the command Terraform init. So once you have this, we are going to save. I'll save this, and then when I save this, I'll build the pipeline. I'll build now. I'll click on build now, and when I click on build now, you see the pipeline failed. So let's check why the pipeline failed. I'll click on the drop down, view console output. If I view console output, you will see the first stage which was implemented. We had the checkout stage started by user admin. We did the checkout and we're able to get our code. This is the stage where we did the checkout and we're able to get all of our code into our server, and then we ran the ls command and it was able to list all the files which we have. And then now if you see, we've passed the command Terraform init, and when you pass the command Terraform init, you see Terraform command not found. Terraform command not found. So what we are going to do is we are going to install the Terraform plugin which will enable us to manage Terraform. Now you could install the Terraform plugin directly here in your Jenkins server, or you could install the Terraform plugin directly here on your Jenkins server by coming to dashboard. You click on dashboard and then you come to manage Jenkins. Click on manage Jenkins and then you can use plugins. So you could use plugins, or you could actually install Terraform directly by logging into your server and installing Terraform. We are going to use Terraform plugins in this module because we want to be able to use Jenkins without having many configurations, or without running many configurations on our server. So now for us to do this, you click on plugins, and when you click on plugins, you come to available plugins. You click on available plugins. Under available plugins, you search for Terraform. search for Terraform, and you can see we have the Terraform plugin. This plugin provides a build wrapper for Terraform to launch and destroy infrastructure. So I'll select this plugin, and I'll click on install. When I click on install, this should install the Terraform plugin. You see success. If you scroll right down to the bottom, it will tell you go to the top of the page. So we don't need to restart our Jenkins server. Terraform, once you install the plugin, you can start using it. So I'll click here on go back to the top of the page. So I'll click on go to the top of the page. Now I've installed the plugin. If you come back to manage Jenkins, and then you come to plugins, you come to install plugins. Once you come to manage Jenkins, you come to install plugins, and under install plugins, you search for Terraform. Then you see the Terraform plugin has been installed. The Terraform plugin has been installed. If you want to uninstall it, you can uninstall it here. It has been installed and enabled. So let's come back to our dashboard. When you come back to our dashboard, we go to the Wanda Prep Terraform pipeline. Now, once we are on the pipeline, let's try to build again to see if we can start using, or given that we've installed Terraform plugin, if we can perform Terraform in it. So I'll take build now. Once I click on build now, the build is running, as you can see, and the build still fails. If you come to your console output, click on console output, you will see the build still fails. The build still fails. Terraform command not found. We've installed the plugin, but we have not configured the plugin. So we are going to configure this plugin. And for us to configure this plugin, we come back to our dashboard. We click on dashboard. We click on manage Jenkins. And then we've installed the plugin. So for us to use it, we need now to configure the plugin under tools. So I'll select tools. When you click on tools, you will now see, you can scroll right down, you will now see Terraform installations. You see Terraform installations. And for us to set the right Terraform installation, you click on add Terraform. When you click on add Terraform, you give it a name. I would recommend you giving the same name so you can highlight all of these. Right click, copy, you paste this. You can paste this. Once you paste that, that is the name of the Terraform. And now, because we are using an Amazon Linux image, we are going to search for the version of Terraform that we want to use. So you scroll down here. I'll recommend you use 41. So let's scroll down. There's 41023. So you can look for this particular version 41023. 41023. It's an Amazon Linux. It's an Amazon Linux based for Amazon Linux. Let's look for 41. If you don't use the right plugin, it's going to perform, or you're going to have some issues. So let's look for 41023 to match our configuration. 41023. Yes, this is 41023. So we are using Amazon Linux. So we use 41023. 41023. Let's use for the Amazon Linux 41023. So we use this plugin. So you click on Terraform version here, and then you select the 41023 Amazon Linux, because we installed because our EC2 instance is an Amazon Linux instance. That's why we are going to be using this particular plugin. Now, once you do that, you click on save. When you click on save, it means you set up these tools. If you come now to tools again here, after saving it, if you click on tools and you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see we have a Terraform installation. So there's already a Terraform installation. So you click on save. Now you save that, and now we can come back to our pipeline. Let's come back to our pipeline. You click on dashboard, come to our Wanda Prep Terraform pipeline, and then we click on build now. If we build, remember we have installed the plugin, we've configured the plugin, and now we've performed a build. The build still fails. If you come to our pipeline, you'll see we have the configuration here on our pipeline. We have the stage to check out. We have the stage to perform Terraform init, but we are not referencing yet on our pipeline that we want to make use of the tool called Terraform. So for us to make use of the tool called Terraform, we need to explicitly define in our pipeline to use the tool called Terraform. And for us to do that, because we installed the tool and set up the configuration on our pipeline, you come here, you hit enter, and then you type tools, because we want to define the tools which you've set up. And the tools, we have currently installed one tool, which is the Terraform tool. So in this tool configuration, we've installed Terraform, and then the way the tool was called, or the way we named this tool, we named it as Terraform. So we are saying that Terraform, or we are saying that this are given pipeline should make use of this tool which we have configured in our, or where we downloaded the tool as a plugin and we've configured this tool. So once you do this, Terraform is now going to make use of this tool when running the Terraform init. So again, I said we can use this tool, Terraform, or we could just install Terraform directly on the Jenkins server. But this is the best practice given that we are using Jenkins Jenkins tool. If you were to run Jenkins out of it, if you were to run Jenkins out of an EC2 instance, this would definitely be a most recommended practice. So once you set this tool, once you do tools, Terraform, you can save it. Now when you save the tool, we will now perform a new build. So I'll click on build now. Once I perform build, click on build now. You see the build is in progress. Let's give it some time. And you can see the build success. The build shows success. If you click on the console output, you come to console output, you will scroll down. If you scroll down, you will see that we're able to do Terraform init. Terraform perform the initialization and so on. So because, well, once it performs the Terraform initialization, it will now tell you to try running Terraform plan. Now we've done the first part, which is the Terraform init, and it recommends us to do Terraform plan. Just to summarize, at this point, we have been able to come to our Terraform or to our Jenkins dashboard. We've come to manage Jenkins. We've installed the Terraform plugin. We've used that plugin. We've configured that plugin under tools. And after configuring the plugin under tools, we've also been able to come to our Jenkins, to our pipeline. We've also been able to come to our pipeline, and under our pipeline, in our pipeline configuration, if you click on the pipeline configuration, you'll see that we've been able to reference that tool in our configuration. Now we've done Terraform init, so let's do the same for Terraform plan. Let's do the same for Terraform plan. For us to do that, we have to create a new stage. We call the stage, we give the name stage, and then we call it Terraform. We call it Terraform plan. Terraform plan, and then we open a curly brace. We hit enter. The steps. We open the curly brace. We hit enter, and then of course we want to run the command Terraform plan. But if you put this like this, our pipeline will throw us an error. You cannot just run a. You cannot just run a. You cannot just run a script this way. So we are going to cut this. Right click, cut, and then we come under our pipeline settings. Instead of we did Terraform init, now we are going to do Terraform. We are going to do Terraform plan. So we'll paste this, and then we click on generate pipeline script. So you click on generate pipeline script, you see now the shell script is changed to sh Terraform plan. So I'll right click this, I'll copy this, come back to my pipeline, and under here I'll paste this, and then I have the shell script. So I've added a stage. This for my first pipeline, I have the stage for git checkout. I now have the stage for Terraform init, and then I've created the stage now for Terraform plan. Now, as I have this stage for Terraform plan, I'll save this. I'll click on save. I'll save this. I'll come to build. I'll click on build now. And when I click on build now, I'll wait to see the result of the build. Probably the build will fail or the build will pass. So let's just wait and see. And when I perform the build, you could also just click here, wait, or come to the console output. So if you come to the build, actually you see the build failed. If you come to console output here, you see we've been able to do Terraform init. We've been able to do Terraform init quite alright. But now at the stage for Terraform plan, it's telling us that no EC2 IMGs found or IMG role found. This means that currently we do not have, you can even see here, no valid credential sources found. Ideally, for you to perform Terraform or to run Terraform in a given environment, you need to have AWS access to that environment before you can perform that deployment. So with this, we have been able to do this at the Terraform plan stage, but we cannot deploy any infrastructure to AWS yet because we do not have valid credentials. So for us to bypass this, there are two ways for us to bypass this. The first way is for us to use an IAM role. You create an IAM role which we are going to attach to the Jenkins server. That's the first way. And then the second way is for us to use Jenkins credentials. So if you come back to our pipeline here, we have, if you click on configure, you come to this stage, you will see Terraform plan fails because we do not have the necessary credentials. For us to overcome this or to go past this stage, we need to first either use a role, an IAM role, a role that gives EC2 full access to Jenkins, or we can use credentials. So we are going to demo how to use IAM role. So I'll open my console. Let me open my console. I'll get to my AWS console. When I come to my AWS console, I'll come to roles. I'll click on IAM. Click on IAM. Under IAM, I'll click on roles. I'll click on create role. So under IAM, I click on roles. I'll click on create role. So I'll click here on create role. And I want to give this role access to a service. So I'll select EC2. EC2. After selecting EC2, I'll click on next. I'll click on next. And for this row, I'll just search for EC2. We want to give it EC2 full access. So I'll just give it EC2 full access. This is for demonstration purposes. So I'll give it EC2 full access because we are doing this for demonstration purposes. So I'll select EC2 full access and I'll click on next. I'll call this role Jenkins Terraform role. Jenkins Terraform role. And then I'll remember the role has EC2 full access, and then I'll click on create role. I'll click on create role. So summarily, I've created a Jenkins Terraform role. If you view the role, you'll see the role has, for the permissions, we will see this role has EC2 full access permissions. The permission is actually loading. We have the role name Jenkins Terraform role, and then this is the role ARN, the role instance profile. Summarily, to create this role was pretty straightforward. You click on roles. When you click on roles, you click on create role, and then you select EC2, you click on next. After selecting next, you search for EC2 full access. You select EC2 full access, you click on next, you give the role the name of the role, and then you click on create role. So this is basically how you can create this role. Now, after creating this role, let me cancel this. I don't need this role. I'll click on cancel. After creating this role, I'll come to my AWS console. I'll select EC2 because I want to attach this role to my Jenkins server. So I'll select EC2. When I click on EC2 dashboard, I'll click on instances running. And now when I click on instances running, I'll look for the particular Jenkins server which I have that is running my configurations. I'll look for the particular Jenkins server that I have which is running my configurations. So let's wait for the EC2 instances to populate. So I'll select, you see under instances running, I have, this is my Jenkins server, and my server is currently running T2 medium 212 check pass. Now I'll select on this server, I'll tick this server, or select this server. I'll click on actions, I'll click on security. So again, I'll select the server here, I'll tick the server here, I'll click on actions. Under actions, I'll click on security. Under security, I'll click on modify IAM role. And when I click on modify IAM role, I'll just search for Jenkins. This is a Jenkins Terraform role which we created previously. So I'll select the Jenkins Terraform role. I'll select Jenkins Terraform role, and I'll click on update IAM role. Once I update the IAM role, it means that I've given this role, this Jenkins server access to the, or you see it says successfully attach Jenkins Terraform role to the instance. Now, once this has been attached, I'll come to my Terraform pipeline. This is my Terraform pipeline. I'll save this. No changes made on the Terraform pipeline. We've only made changes on the instance or at the instance level. We just created an IAM role and attached to the Jenkins server instance which we created previously. Now, once you have this, you click on build now. Remember, we have given it IAM access using, we've given it access to our AWS, or we've given this Jenkins server the permissions to access our AWS resources with the role which we created. And with that permission, we should be able to use Jenkins, or Jenkins should have access to be able to perform changes in our AWS environment. So you see our build was successful. If I click here, come to console output. Under console output, if I scroll down, if I scroll right down to the bottom, you see Terraform, actually the Terraform plan was actually executed. So this is a shell script which we pass Terraform plan, and then Terraform used the selected providers to generate the following execution plan. Terraform was able to do this because we gave it the IAM role. Previously, the Terraform plan was not able to be executed because there was no necessary IAM role. And now, if just to further test the concept, we have, if you build again, the plan will still succeed because the IAM role is still attached to your Jenkins server, because the IAM role is still attached to your Jenkins server. If you come here to instances, if you look here, if you come to action, modify, or under security, modify IAM role, it is currently, there's already a role attached to it. It's currently, you see, it's attached to the Jenkins Terraform role. The instance is currently attached to the Jenkins Terraform role. That's why our pipeline stages can run. But if I come to IAM, or if I click on modify here, if I select no IAM role, and I modify or I update the IAM role permissions, so they'll see by choosing no IAM role, you will detach IAM role that is currently attached to the selected instance. Are you sure you want to detach the Jenkins Terraform role from selected instance? We want to detach it because we want to test to see if we can be able to do Terraform plan with or without those permissions. So I'll right click, I'll copy this, I'll just right click there, copy, and then I'll paste here, and I'll click on detach. When I detach it, you'll see that's updated, successfully dissociated the Jenkins Terraform role from instance I02. So as that has been dissociated, if you come to our Jenkins pipeline, if you perform a new build, remember we've dissociated the role. If you perform a new build, the build is expected not to pass because this Jenkins server no longer has access to your AWS environment, or no longer has access to provision resources in your AWS environment. And just as we explained, the build failed. If you come here, you click on your console output, if you scroll down, it will still tell you it doesn't have the valid credential sources. So this is the first way through which you can use to give or to make your Terraform plan successful, by attaching an IAM role, creating an IAM role and attaching it to the Jenkins server. In our subsequent module, we are going to look at the second method. Which is by using credentials. So instead of us attaching an IAM role to our Jenkins server, we are going to come to manage Jenkins, and then we are going to add credentials at the level of our Jenkins. So add credentials, and the credentials basically will be the access key and the secret access key. So we'll add the access key and the secret access key. So let's go ahead in the next module to give Terraform, or to give our Jenkins server access to our AWS environment using our credentials. So let's go ahead to give access to our Jenkins. So let's go ahead to give Jenkins access to our AWS environment by using AWS credentials such as AWS access key and AWS secret access key.